Hello, hello. It's your astrologer friend Kimberly here, ahead of the Leo full moon, coming to you with the chart of the Leo full moon and the art of astrology. We're going to look at famous people, famous faces, people born under this lunation configuration, people born with the sun in Aquarius and the moon in Leo. So let's hop right into the chart of the moment. That would be the Leo full moon. The full moon in Leo, which is happening in Japan, 7 o'clock in the morning on Monday morning. What a way to start the week. So, one of the things I want to say just up front, one of the kind of musings that I've been having, one of the realizations is that when I'm talking to anybody, I could be talking to somebody who shares the same beliefs as me, or I could be talking to somebody who is very, very different to me. And there is a level playing field. So, basically, I'm aware that, say, for example, I'm talking to an Aries. I could be talking to an Aries about their ability to be socially active or to get involved in their community, to join a team, to participate in any way that they can for the causes and the goals that they are motivated by. But I could very much be talking to somebody who really isn't on the same team as me there. So when we're looking at the astrology, when I'm describing this full moon in Leo, remember that we're just talking about the the themes, but they will land with everybody. There's, there's 12 zodiac signs, and everybody's experiencing the same energy, as it were. So let's just dive into it. That's just sort of heads up, started by saying that. What we've got here is the moon at 13 degrees Leo and the sun at 13 degrees Aquarius, air sign Aquarius, fire sign Leo. We've got an opposition in the sky. When we look at the sky, when the full moon is shining bright, the sun and the moon are the same size, right? It doesn't matter that the sun is way further away and the moon is, in our orbit. The moon is our Earth's satellite. They look the same. And so philosophically, or how we might describe that, is that the moon is our emotional matter and the sun is our egoic matter. And so at full moon, there is equal balance between our emotions and our consciousness in kind of practical terms, although the moon doesn't always need to bring up high emotions that are unmanageable. So let's just look at here at the chart and what it's showing us. So we've got the sun in Aquarius, which is considered in its sign of detriment. The sun in Leo is in its sign of domicile. It's at home in Leo. It's resplendent, it's confident, it's gregarious, it's warm, it's generous, it's the middle of summer. The sun is strong in Leo. And we might consider that the sun is weaker in Aquarius. So what does that mean? I'll also use the example of Libra, because the sun in Libra is considered in fall, at the time of fall in autumn, and it's exalted in Aries. So people who are Aries are way more self-oriented than Libra. Libra is the scales, the sign of balance. They're more partnership oriented. So the sun being exalted in Aries, being solo and solo consciousness, the sun being in domicile in Leo, being warm, resplendent, and gregarious. We might look at people born under the sign of Leo and people born under the sign of Aquarius and just take something from what we get a read on their personality. People will often say that Aquarius is, I'm going to mispronounce this, egalitarian in terms of like they're humanitarian people, they're community people, they're people that get involved in clubs, networks. They're socially adaptable, or they're socially oriented. They tend to be the influencers or the people that can deal with a social load, unlike me, who is a complete homebody and can't cope with too much chatter unless it's me doing the chatting. Anyhow, right now we've got the sun in Aquarius, so the sun lighting up principles of community, principles of friendship, teamwork, team spirit, and community at a very macro scale would be countries, tribes, communities that are very, very big, as in, you know, counties or, what are they called? Not just, in the globe, continents. Christ. Okay, so we've got there in Aquarius this macro grouping of people, of human beings, and of course, like such a hot topic on our plate, immigration. Every single country in the world has just got this topic of, who belongs where, whose tribe, which country, which passport, are you being excommunicated? Are you being, are you aligning? Who are you aligned with? And so on. So that's the macro, but it filters down into all areas of life. So that's why when we're looking at these Aquarius planets, we've got this weakened sun. So we're dealing with the issue of communities and humanity in a very weakened way. Like there's it's such a freaking shit show out there. So it's a very weakened um, version of dealing with humanity right now. We've got Mars. Mars is the planet of aggression, war, and, battlefields. And so that is also indicative of the riled up nature of everyone. Um, of course, not everyone, but, many. And then Pluto, which is the planet of fear, transformation, alchemy, and major shifts that are going on at an internal, subconscious, unconscious level or governing people. So Pluto, even though it's in the sign of people, Pluto is a generational, slow-moving planet, which is, guiding cultural and zeitgeist and major themes that we are dealing with. So again, when Pluto goes through different signs, different fears, different things will come up to be confronted. So we've had this really long stint of Pluto being in Capricorn, where the wood rot has come up, the rot from underneath the mountains, the institutions, the businesses, the political cabinets. We have been aware of just how dark those people in positions of power are. And now we've got different people in positions of power, which we're also fearing, AI bosses, basically the heads of companies and what they're doing with our data and our private information online. So that's really is quite a scary topic when you come online and you're seeing lots of news and information that just is really unmanageable. It's not cool. So, Pluto, Mars, malefic planets, the Sun weakened, Venus in Aquarius, Mercury in Aquarius, topping off this major stellium of these five planets in Aquarius. Sign of humanity, area of humanity, themes of humanity, community, tribes, continents, countries. Where do you belong? Then we've got Neptune tucked away here in Aries. I'm not going to go too much into the Aries Neptune transit or the fact that these two are coming together on the 20th of February, once in a 36-year transit. Last time this happened was the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune in Capricorn in 1989, Tiananmen Square, the fall of the Berlin Wall. You've all heard me mention it before. Over here, we've got the full moon in Leo, which is answering to the sun. So whenever a planet or the moon or the sun is going through a zodiac sign, it is answering to the ruler of that sign. So the moon is responding to the sun. So basically, it puts more emphasis back onto Aquarius. People, tribes, humanity, community, organizations, group goals. Now, that's all well and good if your group goal is really esteemable and if your group goal is really charitable and good in our eyes. But what if your goal is not altruistic and not very kind, and in fact it's, you know, ice cold, if you know what I mean? Not cool. So who are the Aquarius planets the planets moving through Aquarius, who are they responding to? They're responding to Saturn and Uranus, the two co-rulers of Aquarius, which are playing nice together. They're in harmony. So that is kind of like, it's not a sweet spot, but it's kind of like a little bit of a plateau feeling. And it's the end of an era type feeling because these planets are wrapping up in their respective signs, Pisces and Taurus. Anyway, I feel like I'm babbling too much and going on too much. But it's just to say that whoever you are, these energies will be affecting you and they are pretty aggressive. We've gone past the point of the Mars Pluto conjunction, which was about last Tuesday, I think. But this is a fruition moment. It's a moment that could be alluding to what's going to happen when Jupiter moves into Leo later after, late summer of 2026. So I would encourage you all, if you're watching this video and kind of able to stay with me through my ramblings and my rantings even, um, use this time to be conscious, present, and aware of where Aquarius is in your chart, what's showing up for you right now, so that you can predict, anticipate, and plan the themes that are going to be unfolding for you strongly late summer when Jupiter, as I said, Jupiter will oppose Pluto there it will be in Leo, and Pluto will still be in Aquarius. The way that I use astrology personally is to predict, to make my life easier. So if I know it's sunny outside, I'm going to pack a hat, sunglasses, wear a light sweater, and take some sun cream for good measure. If I can predict it's going to be cold outside, scarf, gloves, you get the picture. If I can see that things are tense, I might shut my mouth a bit more and not get myself into trouble. Or I might say yes to opportunities as they arise. So, for example, as an Aries myself, I have been active in the community today, and I'm balancing the need to be showing off on camera and showing up and doing something creative, which is performing on YouTube or doing a podcast. But also, I'm very much thinking about you, the audience, my modest audience. Anyway, let's also look at the new moon that corresponds to this full moon, which is really, really, really bang on point. It was at 12 degrees, 34 minutes. So within a degree, this is using the lunar gestation cycle. So we're not saying that the new moon corresponding to this one was 2 weeks ago. No, it was 18 months ago on the 4th of August, 2024, with that lovely, neat seeding moment. So look back, what was going on for you? Look back in your calendar, in your photo album, 4th of August, 2024. What was the new moon wishes that you had then that might be touched on or worth thinking about now? I've done it. I've done that very exercise and it's so on point. I just think that this full moon is textbook in terms of the themes that it's bringing up. So hopefully it's sort of running true for you. And if you need help finding your way in the dark or shining some light into some murky corners, please do book in with me. My details are probably in the show notes. So let's take a moment for a vanity check. It's now 20 to 11 on a Saturday night. What am I like filming this on a Saturday night at that time? Okay, now let's move on to the art in the art of astrology. Now, I will admit that the artistic side of things, the artistic music vibes that we have here are not so strong with the Sun in Aquarius, Moon in Leo, but let's dive in. So, what do Cristiano Ronaldo and Paris Hilton have in common? That's right, they're both massively popular with their audience. They are both Aquariuses with clout. They are Aquariuses that are popular and super duper, super duper characters online. Cristiano Ronaldo famously had the most amount of followers on Instagram, I'm not sure if he's still the king of that, but he was at one point. And Paris Hilton invented the selfie and is one of the original cool girls of LA, Hollywood. I don't know how you describe it, but she's a Nepo baby type character, but hung around with Britney, Kim Kardashian, Lindsay Lohan. She was part of the Brat Pack and her bestie, Nicole Richie, as well. So, yeah, very popular characters there. Let's dive in and look at the chart of Cristiano Ronaldo. There he is in his red team top, footballer, if you don't know about Cristiano, and Aquarius with Mercury in Aquarius and Mars and Venus in Aries. I'm really interested to know what's going on with Cristiano Ronaldo at the moment because he will have had Pluto creeping up on his planets. He'll have Pluto creeping up on his Mercury and his Mars. And as an astrologer, I'm going to say that there is going to be some kind of message or something he's going to come out with a statement that is really, really important, perhaps surrounding his home and family. Cristiano is a Capricorn rising with Neptune exactly conjunct his ascendant, which is perhaps why people are so magnetically drawn to the guy, is because Neptune is the planet of dreams and glamour and collective cultural zeitgeist consciousness. So everybody tapped in because he represents something so hypnotic for everyone. But that Sun in Aquarius, that Mercury in Aquarius, what do we think about Cristiano Ronaldo as a character? Is he confident in the limelight? How does he respond to all eyes on him? And let's face it, there are a lot of eyes on him on the pitch. He has the moon in Leo. Now, I'm not a football fan, so I don't exactly watch or know about him. I don't study his style. But you tell me if you think that Cristiano Ronaldo is a classic Leo moon, emotionally proud, emotionally having some kind of qualities of needing to be, I don't want to say respected and revered, but holding himself in esteem, in some way. I'm not going to go on about Cristiano Ronaldo more because I don't know him intimately, but somebody I do know a bit better is good old Paris, heiress Paris, heiress to the Hilton fortune, along with Nikki Hilton, a multiple Libra. Look at Nikki Hilton's chart as well. She's fascinating too. Paris has Neptune rising in Sagittarius. So she too has a hypnotic pull towards her. She has three planets in Aquarius, Sun, Mercury, and Venus, with that moon in pretty perfect opposition. Born on an eclipse, moon is conjunct the North Node. That makes her kind of epic. And also, it says a lot about her identity as well, because this sun being, you know, as I've described about this son of Aquarius, like I don't want to say insecure or, her having this identity sometimes that I don't want to say infantilizes herself, but when she talks like a baby, um, I don't know the psychology behind people that do that, but there may be something in it that somebody else can can speak to because I'm not going to attempt to talk about Paris Hilton in that way, but she does have this sun sextile Neptune. So the identity being a really loaded topic. Again, I know she had a surrogate deliver her baby recently, and I don't know what the choices were around her using a surrogate, but I have a feeling it may have been that she was uncomfortable um, carrying a child, something like that. I don't know. I didn't follow the story too. I didn't go down endless reels. And let's face it, public figures oftentimes deliver the message that they want to deliver rather than the accurate truth. So who knows, even if, even if we'd be able to get to the bottom of her preferences around child rearing or child bearing. But I know she does come under some quite flack occasionally around her kid. I saw some videos where people were criticizing how she like picked up the baby and was like mothering. Moon and Leo, have you seen Paris Hilton's music career as well? She's a DJ, but she's also kind of like released some pop singles, which were kind of iconic. Um, you know, not musical masterpieces, but interesting in their own way. Final thing I'm going to say about Paris is that she has Saturn, Jupiter on the midheaven, which is in perfect sextile to her moon in Leo. So the moon being about home, Jupiter being luck and benevolence and generosity, and then Saturn being hardship and restriction. This really speaks to the fact that her family are hoteliers with these massive properties. So, Moon in Leo, Jupiter in that perfect sextile to the moon, and being these big, big buildings, but her also dealing with the hard hand of authority figures, i.e., her parents sending her off to wilderness. I don't know if it's rehab, but definitely a wilderness program when she was in her teens and her being harshly treated. She has such a fandom, such a following online, it would rival Lady Gaga's Monsters, her tribe as well. So that just speaking to that Aquarius ability to capture not just being part of the cool gang, but en masse having an audience. She really does draw people in. So I think those two examples, Cristiano Ronaldo and Paris Hilton, as parallel figures with a lot in common, is interesting. Another fact is that Zsa Zsa Gabor is related to Paris Hilton and also was born on a full moon in Leo. She is worth Googling, just looking at her photograph, like the way she's photographed. She is a pretty eccentric character, born with the sun conjunct Uranus and Mars. Talk about a spicy signature in the birth chart. The moon co-present with Neptune. So she's pretty epic. I mean, if only we were living in the time when we had access to celebrities in real time, maybe Zsa Zsa Gabor would be a very interesting person to follow on social media with that signature, that real exciting signature of Sun Uranus in the birth chart. Wow. I haven't looked at anything she's done recently, not that she's done recently. I haven't recently Googled her. But I remember looking at her chart and her sort of photographs online a long time ago when I first looked at these charts because I've been looking at full moon charts for ages. Okay, next example, Megan the Stallion. I fell in love with Megan the Stallion when I watched her Netflix show. It was really, really moving. She got shot by a partner, and this TV show explains the whole situation from her perspective. It's deeply moving. She has a confirmed birth time of Taurus rising. She was very close with her mum. So I believe this would be very accurate in terms of giving us this exact full moon that Megan Thee Stallion was born under. She looks incredibly Taurus rising. She's a great example of a Taurus rising physiognometry. Like her facial features are incredibly beautiful for a Taurus rising, full lips, her nose, just her whole countenance. I looked at her social media just before filming this video, and she has recently had collaborations with Dunkin' Donuts. It's a very common brand collaboration that many celebrities do in America is Dunkin' Donuts. They must pay really well. Good for her. But I did think it was interesting that she's, basically having a lot of attention around her public profile, but I'm not seeing anything particularly newsworthy. Paris Hilton, on the other hand, has just launched a movie about herself 5 hours ago before I started recording this. So within the last 24 hours, as the moon has entered Leo. So Paris obviously has a astrologer in-house on her team telling her to do something with this full moon, releasing a movie about herself. Oh, Paris. Yeah, like again, who's to say if that's insecure behavior, having to do an epic biography about oneself? I think that would probably qualify as perhaps either being informative or is it being insecure and needing an ego boost? Who knows? I'm not going to judge. Good old Paris. She's probably done some good and some otherwise questionable stuff. But anyway, as I say, it's not my business to comment on Paris Hilton. Um, Megan Thee Stallion, however, loved this story from her perspective. It really gave me some insight. She was very vulnerable. It was a lovely TV show that walked us through her early beginnings. Her father passed away. I think her father passed away and then her mother passed away in the TV show. And it was sort of talking about her struggles with mental health and all sorts of different things. Uranus has just finished squaring her sun, so I hope she's doing well. She is an interesting character. Keep eyes on Megan Thee Stallion. Um, Uranus has just stopped squaring her sun, but hasn't stopped squaring her moon. So again, somebody with an epic life, like we can say there are many people with very, very interesting lives, but full moon people tend to be very expressive and open and sharing their emotions. She's got Mars in Leo there, Moon in Leo. She's been very open on that particular TV show. So I found that pretty fascinating. Keep eyes on Megan Thee Stallion. She's also got that Pluto at 0 degrees of Sagittarius and Mercury, in Aquarius in a perfect sextile there, midheaven at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So I don't particularly think well, maybe insecure is not the right word for her version of Aquarius sun. I would maybe say with her, she is somebody figuring things out very publicly. However, I've included Rick Astley here as well. You probably do know him. He had the song Never Gonna Give You Up. I'm not going to sing. It's 5 to 11 at night. I am not going to start singing Rick Astley. Never Gonna Give You Up, but you'll know it. And with a Rick Astley, I almost didn't include this example because we don't have a birth time for him. However, I thought he was a really good example because the lyrics to this very, very viral song, Never Gonna Give You Up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and hurt you. I feel like that is a very Aquarius message of decisive mindset. Like, I'm not gonna do this. Like, it's never gonna happen. I'm sure of myself. I'm sure of my outlook. It's quite an Aquarius thing. He's also got Mars in romantic Pisces, so perhaps that kind of declaration of loving sentiments comes from the Mars in Pisces. But nevertheless, he could be a Moon in Leo person. He could also be Moon in Virgo. We do not know. However, I wanted to point him out because he had such a complex reaction and relationship to his fame. The song that he had was, perhaps you would say, it was a one-hit wonder. And so I think later in life, was very much an acceptance about that. But earlier in his career, it really got his back up. So although the birth chart is not necessarily 100% accurate, I thought he was an interesting example of an Aquarius who has a tenuous relationship with the notion of fame. He also has Venus at 0 degrees of Aquarius retrograde. There is a small chance that if he was born later in the day, that Venus popped back into Capricorn. We don't know with Rick Astley, but you understand, I'm sure, when I say about this sun in the sign of its detriment in Aquarius, what I'm trying to convey about Paris Hilton and her ego and her demonstration of ego, about Cristiano Ronaldo and his idiosyncratic relationship with fame, perhaps. I don't know. I'm not going to say about Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't know him enough. And then Megan Thee Stallion's process as well. And then Rick, another really, really good example of somebody who has a conflicted relationship around how he is seen in the public eye by his friends, by his peers, by his contemporaries, by people in the music industry. And there's me checking out myself and seeing how I look on the screen. Need to get my hair done. And I was thinking, I'll finish with this, that the full moon in Leo is the best lunar phase. Full moon in Leo, waxing moon in Leo is the best lunar phase to be getting one's hair cut under. And as it is a Sunday in Japan, I don't think I can just stroll into a hairdresser's and get it done. So I am going to attempt to trim my hair under the full moon, the waxing moon tomorrow. So let's see how that goes. Anyways, I have waffled on as per usual. On some kind of a tangent, but I am wishing you a blessed full moon in Leo. It's very textbook. It's the themes should be coming up predominantly around Aquarius, I would imagine, for you. We're over the hump and we're moving into eclipse season, hot and heady. Not hot and heady, cool and calculated, cool and calm and cool and eclipsy. In 2 weeks, we've got Lunar New Year. We've got entry into the Year of the Fire Horse. It's an eclipse. It's an annular solar eclipse in Aquarius. A sign of things to come as we move into that new eclipse chapter of the Aquarius zodiac sign. So anyway, I'll love you and leave you with that. Are we going to see aliens soon? That's the real question. And, there's a lot of questions right now. If you need answers, I am here. My books are open as always. I love hearing from you. I just reconnected with a client and I can't wait to read for her because it's my joy, my pleasure. All right, my loves, that's me over and out. And the short videos will have interpretations by sign.